Welcome back to the episode number 2 of OAP. I'm Coach Brian.
I'm Coach Kyler.
And if you haven't seen us before, welcome to the channel. We're about to hit 100 subs.
Yes, after our first episode.
Yeah, in about like 9 minutes, we're going to hit 100 subs. So if you're not subscribed, boom, subscribe, please.
We got a handful of pickleball topics that we're going to be talking about today.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we're going to be going over the importance of eyewear. We're going to be talking about some different paddle shapes and what might be right for you. We're going to be talking about how wind affects pickleball and how it affected the latest PPA.
Yeah.
And we are going to be talking about how many courts are going up in Orlando, how maybe the market's getting a little saturated.
Popping up.
Yeah. And then we are going to talk about our thoughts on DUPR, how it affects sort of the pickleball community and how it might affect, how you play and your enjoyment of the game.
What it is and do you need it and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So let's get into it.
Yes.
I have been in pickleball for a little while. I've played a little over 4 years. I've been a coach for about maybe 3 years. And my intro, I wanted to talk about my intro a little bit, was that my dad got me into it. He asked me to play this thing called pickleball and to go to a rec center and to beat up on these old ladies that kept beating him and he couldn't win. And I just thought he was crazy. He told me, let's go, let's do it, come on. So he convinced me to go. I went, and ladies kicked my ass. I fell in love with I thought it was more technical than anything. I don't have any background with any tennis or racquetball or anything like that, any racket sports. So it was a little harder for me to learn. So that was my whole thing. And my whole thing was that him and Sandra had said that they were already playing for a little bit. And I said, why didn't you guys have me play? And they said, well, we wanted to beat up on you a little bit before you caught up to us because we knew you were going to catch up a little bit faster. So that was my intro.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. So not only do they get the jump start on you, but then they just throw you into the fire against the old ladies at the community center.
And those old ladies, they got me like I don't know how many times.
I think that's everybody's that's everybody's first challenge at pickleball. That's like the first hurdle you have to overcome is beat the old ladies at the community center.
100%.
And we all fail it.
We do. Nobody gets have you seen the Matrix? Nobody gets the first jump. Where he tries to jump. And,
exactly.
First jump.
No one beats the old ladies at the community center the first time
at all. What about you? Who got you into it?
Oh, I had a similar thing. I was living in Canada. This was like 8 years ago. Yeah. I was living in Canada. Came down with my parents for a couple months, and one of my mom's friends was like, "Hey, there's this new game, pickleball. Come check it out." Like chalk some lines on a tennis court, put up a temporary net. And I played it for like 20 minutes and I was like, this is stupid. You
didn't like it at all? Wow.
I just didn't get into it. And
what about it didn't you like?
I didn't like hate it or anything, but I hadn't played any sports since like high school.
Okay.
And there was no like community or anything that I was playing with.
Yeah.
It was just like, me and my mom out on a temporary net for 20 minutes.
I got you.
So nothing about it grabbed me then.
Okay.
But eventually we moved into a community here in Florida that had their own courts, and my mom started a local group, and we got 20 or 30 people out. And I was hesitant to join at first because I was like, yeah, I played it before, whatever. It's not for me.
Okay.
But some of those players started getting really good. Started getting better, and as I went out and started playing those better players and getting my ass kicked, that's when I was like, oh, this is fun now.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
So I guess like the competitive side of it kind of drew you in a little bit more than anything.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Or just my own masochistic side of like, oh, these people are beating me. This is awesome.
I want more.
I love it.
That's crazy too, because so many people start for whatever reason. Like mine was just the technical part of it. I really liked, you couldn't just hit the ball, it was going to go into the net or out.
Yeah.
So there was a specific way that you had to hit the ball, forehand and backhand, whatever. But I do find it interesting that a lot of people that you ask, a lot of it is like their parents or their uncle or some 55 plus community. Like it was back then, like years ago, it was just
I mean, it started out as such a big game for seniors, and now you have like the Christian Alshons out there just flying around, covering
all over the place.
Covering,
like, bang.
Getting the ball 20 feet out of bounds.
This is true.
Yeah.
So what do we have on the list to talk about today?
I wanted to let everybody know that Crush Yard Season 2 League is live. The registration for that. It is on officialoap.com. It opened up like 2 days ago, and we already have 4 teams signed up.
Nice.
So don't hesitate. Sign up for that soon so you don't miss out. The dates are also locked in. It is going to be every Tuesday from April 15th to May 20th.
Nice.
So, once again, go to officialoap.com to sign up for Season 2 Crush Yard Team League. Next week is the last week of Season 1. So we're going to be going into playoffs. And we do have, we are going to be giving this beautiful trophy over here, to the winning team. This is going to be proudly displayed with the winner's name on it at Crush Yard. Team.
Get your fingerprints off of that. That's going to be ours in a little bit. Don't worry about that. We got some medals.
We've also got some medals here, and these are going to be taken by the top 3 teams.
That's pretty dope.
If you,
I really like that, man. I like how it says pickleball on it. It's got pickleball paddles. It's got, it's got the balls on there. See if I can zoom in on that later on, and just the logo and everything that it has, the picture on it. It's pretty dope. I like it.
Yeah, and every player, the first 3 teams is going to get one of those.
And I like the weight of it.
Yeah.
Because you usually have, let me just get used to this. Like that, right? They bite it.
Should we just put your name on it now?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Just
get the engraving.
You might as well.
Yeah.
But you could really tell because when you go to some tournaments and then they give you like $1
the dollar the dollar store medal.
So there's medals that are a good weight, and you could tell those are pretty cool.
Yeah, these are custom ones we have designed specifically for the league, and we do that for like any of our tournaments and events where we're giving out hardware.
Posse League.
You will definitely not have another one like this, nor will you be able to get it anywhere else. Yeah, we actually played this week in the league.
Yeah, we sure did.
Our teams played.
Yeah, we were Team Sevix. Let's go. Your team is...
The Guardians,
yeah. Nobody remembers. You guys played awesome. And it was hilarious because it's when you play our team, stuff happens.
Yeah, stuff did happen.
What happened to you, buddy?
I was... So at some point, I was not on the court at the time, but I was standing sort of next to the court.
It's a good strategy by your team, by the way.
Yeah, keeping me. They try to keep me off as much as they can. I think, and so I'm standing to the side talking to someone. All I hear is like a look out.
Yeah.
And I turn my head to the side, just in time to see the impact point right on top of a giant plate of French fries. The ball hits the fries, flies off right into my face, hits me square in the glasses right here. Got a mark right on my glasses in the middle from the French fry, from the ball off the French fries.
Yeah, it was hilarious. Oh my gosh, I couldn't stop laughing.
Yeah, and it was my own teammate too.
Yeah,
who hit the ball.
Yeah, because they're on the other side. I was right where the, like little table is, that little bar.
Yeah.
So it was, man, I want to say, no lie, maybe 20 seconds after the server came and put the fries on there.
Yes, it was. They just got there.
And then she had walked away, and I was just talking. And the ball came. I was like, look out. And then off the fries onto the face. And we're like, oh my gosh, are you okay? Of course, you do the, are you okay? Quack, quack, quack. And then you start laughing at, the person or whatever.
Yeah, and it was my own teammate who hit me. So he said sorry.
Did he say? Okay, I was about to say.
Yeah, I haven't received like an apology gift basket.
Like nothing.
Nothing. Huh? No, he did not kowtow.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. He might have said, no, he's not looking.
That's what I think. Like, he knows playoffs coming next week. He's trying to like improve the overall team strength.
There you go. He's trying to make his way there. Gotta watch out for those guys.
Yeah, but on a slightly more serious note, if I did not have glasses on, because it came off those fries with some force,
you would have had some Cajun seasoning, salt, and ketchup or whatever that was on there.
Yes,
right in your retina or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fortunately, I don't see that well, so I wear glasses when I play pickleball. Yeah. And I know that that's been kind of a hot topic lately.
Yes, it has.
In the pickleball world.
Glasses and getting hit, and
I strongly recommend to everybody that I talk to get used to wearing eyewear.
Yep.
The game is getting faster.
Yes, the paddles. It's the paddles. They're coming off the paddles too fast.
Yeah.
And it's it's more intermediate and then advanced, whatever, even pros. Sometimes it just happens. But if intermediate and advanced, that kind of level, they're not really 100% in control of the ball, and they're not actually hitting your face on purpose. They're just wanting that point, and they get to hit the ball, and it just happens to be right at that level. Eye level. And you got to protect those eyes, man.
Yeah, I was I've sort of heard people say that better players, know how to keep the ball down, and that's true to an extent, but accidents happen at every level. Mishit happen at every level. I got hit just this week. I took 2 balls to the neck. One was a 5.2 DUPR. I think the other one was about a 4.7 DUPR. When you're talking, when you're talking, that's probably top 10% of regular pickleball players, and they're still hitting balls near people's faces,
and they're not trying to get face.
Neither was deliberate, but it happens.
It does, and I think people should start, getting used to wearing. I mean, the pros are starting to wear eyewear too.
Yeah,
because they know that. I mean, especially in that they're hitting the heck out of those balls.
Yep.
And it's just, if you have something that you want to play, the paddles that the pros are playing with, and they have all these power, and then you can't control as much as they can because they're, amazing in playing it. And like you said, accidents happen.
Yeah. The other thing too is that, if you're following good defensive principles, as their paddle goes up, yours goes down, right? You want to get really low, and if you pop it up, you want to get really low and get ready to dig. But as you lower your body, your eyeballs are coming down with your body.
Right.
So that's another thing to, I think, be cognizant of, is the fact that, like, if you're playing good defense, if you're getting low and trying to dig out overheads and high volleys and stuff, your eyes are getting closer and closer to the danger zone as you're doing that.
Yeah, 100%.
We also had we had this come up a couple times as with kids in our tournament. We weren't doing like youth specific brackets, and we just had kids playing in sort of like the open 3-0s, and we've had some opponents express concern.
I get you.
About because when you're not fully grown, when you're at that kitchen line, if you're still a young guy or girl, your eyes are at that net level.
Yeah.
When you're there, like, it doesn't even have to be a bad shot.
Right.
It can be a good drive could hit you in the eye. If
and then
you're a minor. Yeah.
Either your reaction, counter, attack, or whatever is usually at people's like chest, shoulder. That's kind of where their face is because they're
it's not too far away. Yeah.
So that's I understand that concern too.
Yeah. If my daughter starts playing competitive pickleball, she will definitely have something over her eyes. That's for sure.
I would for sure because that's dangerous, man. You never know what can happen. What else we got on there? Paddle shapes. So the 16 millimeter, the 14 millimeter, not only the size of it, but elongated, wide body.
Yeah.
All those things.
Yep.
So what's your take? Because we have a few here.
Yeah, we got some questions about the carbon.
7 here as well.
And I like what they do with these. They have the 1, they have the 1, the 2, and the 3.
And the 3.
And all the shapes, they have pros and cons, I would say.
Yeah.
I think some have sort of definite advantages over the other, but it is a bit of a personal preference as well.
Okay.
And a personal play style.
Okay.
I would say. So
depending on your style that you like.
Yes.
And I agree 100%. I tried the carbon one and I really liked the elongated paddle.
Yes.
So this one was the one for me.
Yep.
Was the one. The one was the one. So that's my like playing style. I have the two-hand backhand,
yes.
So that was really good. And I've always liked the long elongated paddle. I don't know why the shape for me is better than in my playing style is the wide body, just different types of stuff. But
yeah, I've heard a lot of people comment that they think the standard shapes are better and that's the better doubles paddle and that's the one you should be using. And I don't think I agree with that.
No.
I think personally, that the elongated paddles, if you're a player who's, I would say probably under 6 feet tall, that elongated paddle is probably the one you want to use.
Right. Because you're talking about because of the hand?
Yeah, the extra reach. I think when you're playing against two people who are 6 feet and taller,
right?
If they're moving along the kitchen line well together, if they're reaching in and taking balls out of the air, you can really feel that lack of space that you have to operate in, to move them around, to create openings.
Yeah,
I think that reach is really, really valuable, and there's no way to gain it or replicate it other than a longer paddle. Whereas like with a wide body paddle, you get more sweet spot and it's more forgiving, but you can, as you get better and as you practice more, you can get used to a tighter sweet spot. What you can't do is make your arm grow longer.
Exactly.
So I feel like,
or hold it on your fingertips to try to get extra.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I feel like if you're of sort of modest height and reach, that sort of every extra little like inch you can give yourself really helps.
I think that's why I like the elongated, because I'm 5'8" short.
Yes. Yeah, 5'8" short arms. If I have to cover middle, I'm worried about my line.
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna get two and just tie them together somehow. So what is the difference specifically on carbon 1, 2, and 3, the shapes?
Yeah, so the 1 and the 3 are very similar. Okay. The biggest difference you can see, do you want to hand me that one? Yeah. Is the handle. It's about the same length, but the handle is different. So
a little longer.
What I tell people with these ones, if you have bigger hands, if you like two-handed backhands, it's really nice to be able to rest your hand on the paddle.
Yeah, it's really comfortable.
Instead of like on the throat up here.
Right.
It's a lot harder to, I think, make good balls when you're essentially wielding the paddle face as opposed to the paddle handle.
Right, because it just makes it more comfortable, the one with that long handle. And that's why I had gotten that one. The one was better for me because of that comfortability.
Yeah, absolutely. But if you're somebody, you know, I always grip the paddle at the bottom, sort of too, like this. If you're somebody who grabs it sort of in the middle, or even like really chokes up on the throat, you know, I think the shorter handle is the way to go, because if you're doing that, because the face, as you can see with like the longer ones, right, the face is actually bigger on the 3. So if you're using a 1 and you're choking up, you're basically just sacrificing reach for no reason.
Right.
And we were just talking about the importance of reach.
Yep.
So again, if you choke up or play with the middle, I think the 3 is definitely the way to go, the shorter handle.
And then for the 2, just the standard.
Yeah, the standard shape. If you're taller, if you don't find you have trouble reaching balls for the most part, if you can spread out your arms and cover as much of the kitchen as you need to, it's definitely nice to have the bigger sweet spot, more forgiving, and especially the carbon, I think, is such a spin focused paddle that just having that extra space to sort of roll up and down on the ball when you need to is really nice.
That's pretty good. That's a good idea. And you prefer which one did you prefer?
I like the 1 too.
Oh, okay.
Same reason as
we
you,
both like the 1.
I like the reach. I hit enough 2-ies that I like to have the space there when I'm hitting them. Yeah. If you're interested in picking up the carbon, we talked a little bit about it on episode 1. And if you want to buy it, go ahead and use code OAP-TV. It helps us out, and you'll save yourself a bit of money as well.
Win-win. Also, if you want a chance to win some free gear from OAP, like, subscribe, and in the comments, put free gear. Yeah, look at these. Pretty dope.
These are nice.
In my camera. Front and back. Pretty dope. Awesome. You win a chance to win one of these shirts. Nice hat here. So like, subscribe, and comment. Free gear. Awesome. That's cool. Do you prefer a thinner paddle, or do you prefer 60 millimeter, 14, 12?
I like 16.
Do you?
For me, yeah.
And do you have like a specific reason? Because I like, for me, there's a lot more 14s that I like more than 16.
Yeah.
So what's your thing to pick a 16 more than 14 or thinner? Because I like the paddle tech, and the paddle tech is 12. What is it? 12.7, 12.7 or whatever?
12.7, yeah. That thing slaps.
Yeah, it does. But you've sacrificed control, so you have to be a control freak, aka Puerto Rican. So what is it with 16? I like the 14 because it has just more pop, and I like that power.
Yeah. So I have a drop focused game, I would say. I'm usually, most of the points that I win are usually because I've hit good drops, forced my opponents into not very aggressive shots, worked my way up to the kitchen, and sort of, worked my way in a dink rally or got up there and hit a good counter or something like that.
It's because of that drop. It's either the drop itself or because of that drop caused something.
Yeah, I can't give up the control too much. Like it's nice to have that extra pop from one of the thinner paddles, but if I start sacrificing control and feel, it's not really worth it for my game.
A lot of people think that, though. That's super common, that a lot of people want more control than anything, because in a lot of sense is, what is power without control? If you don't have control over it, then why even have all that power? It doesn't make any sense.
Yep.
And a lot of people like even though how the game is going now, people still like the placement over power.
Yeah.
Philosophy or whatever they want to call it too. So, but me, I like the 14s because I feel like I can control mostly pop paddles.
Yep.
And power paddles. But before, I was just 16 when I didn't feel comfortable, with so much power.
Yeah.
And I was like, dang, I can't control this. This is ridiculous. This is silly.
Yeah.
Why would anybody even want this? And I was like, I want more control. So I did a lot of control, and my whole thing was just kitchen shots.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to dink you to death. That was my thing. And then, but as I got, more drilling in and more controlling and everything like that, I started doing more 14s, 16s, and then kind of comparing both of them. And then I was kind of leaning more towards the 14s. So I like that.
Yeah, I mean,
better.
The game is definitely trending towards a more powerful playing meta for sure. And like when I was coaching people like a year to two ago, I would tell them that, forget the drive thing. Like it's fine to have a good drive, but it can't be the centerpiece of your game. Like good opponents are just going to be able to block it. You can't do enough with it. I don't necessarily think that's true anymore. I think.
Yeah, because the game's changing.
Yeah.
Now it's and I was the same way. I would tell people, control. You need more control. If you're just smacking it and you're a good banger, cool, but you're just gonna stay like a 3-5 or 4-0 banger.
Yeah, you're gonna hit the 4-0, 4-5 wall at some point, and
you'll never exceed.
Yep.
But now there's like 5-0 and 5-5 bangers. It's just nothing but and that's now it's like
there are PPA teams who center their game around drive and crash
100%, because if you don't
works
exactly if they can't get the ball, or if they can't block it or whatever it is, then they're popping it up. Why not keep doing it and get that advantage?
Yeah.
So that's a huge thing to take into consideration if you have like students, and that, because that's what I do. I'm like, all right, things changing.
Yeah.
Now it's
absolutely
smash and crash, tag them and bag them. It's different now. It's not ease up in there, get in.
Yeah.
Soft reset, set up a little fire.
Soft dink.
Softly, no. Soft. Yeah. So yeah.
How do you feel both playing and watching that style?
What do you mean? In what style? The smash and crash?
Yeah.
I don't like smash and crash. I don't like just going in all crazy. I like old school pickleball, where it is drive, but then drop, come in, reset, push them a little bit, and then go into dinking. Only because I just like so many different shots. And that's one of the things that I fell in love with pickleball, is there's so many different shots that you can do. So I wanted to learn every single shot in pickleball that there was. And I wanted to use every single shot at least one time at every single point. And then my favorite thing was dinking.
Yeah.
But now it's like the dinking is getting pulled out. There's no dinks almost. And if there's a dink, there's one dink. People are like speeding it up from 2 inches from the ground.
Yes. Yeah, it's getting... Yeah, I think I told someone not too long ago that I think the term unattackable dink is basically non-existent. All right.
No, because before, that's not attackable.
No.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
You can't attack that. But now it's, especially with these paddles,
there are more advisable and less advisable speed ups.
Yeah, it's like, what are you doing? Why aren't you attacking that?
Yeah.
That was 4 inches off the ground. Like, you have to attack it. It bounced so high. It's bounced like this much.
I know. Yeah, there are times too, I find myself now too, sometimes when my partner, like, if my partner had 2 years ago, if my partner had just like kind of dinked a dead dink back, I'd be like, great, we're comfortable. I think we can out dink these guys. I'm comfortable dinking for days. Like, let's do 40 more and we'll probably come out ahead. Just stay patient.
Yes, because there's a lot of tournaments that I've been in where let's just dink.
Yeah.
Let's dink them, and then they'll make the mistake.
Yeah.
They'll try something crazy, whatever. Yeah. And now listen.
Yeah. Now,
bro, you gotta block that, bro. It's coming at you.
If my partner just taps the dead dink back over and then they speed it up, I'm like, what were you doing, man?
Yeah,
like,
because now
we gotta pull first.
There's more. You know how whether it's dinking, whether it's resetting, whether you're in transition zone and then you block it. or you just hit it too high and that's the oh shit shot.
Yeah.
Where you're like, oh shit, and you run back.
Yeah.
It's getting to the point where almost every shot, if it's not super aggressive, is an oh shit shot.
Yeah.
Back then, a dead dink, it could go either way.
Yep.
Right? But it could say that, they were going to speed it up. But definitely, if it was high, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like, get back. That's an oh shit shot. Now it's if it's a dead dink, it's definitely getting sped up. If it's maybe 5 inches too not shallow in the it's definitely getting sped up. If it's anywher here in the kitchen,
one of those take it out of the air.
Yes,
dinks because even a little below the net.
Because of the flick and everything that we're able to do now because of the technology. If you're pushing somebody, or if you just dink it maybe 2 times in the same spot, that might be an oh shit shot because they're like, oh, you want to dink it there again?
Yeah. They're ready for it the second time.
Because people don't want to dink. They just want to hit the heck out of it. And why not? Because they are able to dink anything now.
Yeah. I mean? Yeah. It's very hard to force someone to dink for a long time if they don't want to.
Yeah. Because of what's going on with the paddles now. And also, like, if you're like going back to because we're talking about power and everything, going back to the whole 16 millimeter and 14 millimeter, how you're able to like adjust your power. Do you do that with your paddles? Do you put weight on your paddles that you have a 16 that it's for control, but do you add weight so that you can have more power somehow?
I like to add weight, and I find the sort of sweet spot I'm always looking for is about 8.4 ounces.
Okay.
8.4 ounces. That's
that's good. I get mine at 8.5.
Okay.
Yeah, so I feel you on that.
Yeah, so you're 0.1 inch bigger than me. That's cool.
I mean, hey, listen.
You always got to one up everybody.
I have to, bro. I'm 5'8". I gotta have something.
5'8.5".
There it is. It's my shoes, bro. Get those thick soles. Why not? But yeah, a lot of people ask me about the paddles of putting, where do I put it? Why do I put it there? And everything like that.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily, when I'm coaching, I don't necessarily tell them to put it anywhere. I want them to have more control of their shots more than anything. But when they get to that level of they're pretty good at it. And then I just let them know where to put it. And like, do you suggest certain people do that with their paddles, or just leave it alone until you get like more than advanced? Like some people don't even touch that until they're maybe 4 or 5 plus.
I don't think it's the most important thing in the world.
Yeah.
But I find resets are a lot easier with a heavier paddle. And to clients, I would recommend for sure that without, if they don't have elbow or shoulder or wrist issues, something like that.
Okay.
And if they're trying to dial in the soft game with a light paddle, I would definitely bring up the option of adding lead to sort of the bottom corners, throw to the paddle for sure.
Where do you put it at?
That's where I usually go. I am almost always putting like 1 to 2 grams in sort of this area, bottom corner. And it's not really for power for me.
Yeah.
It's more of it's more for control, actually. The hardest thing I find to do with a light paddle is reset out of the air. If you give me like a 7.8 ounce paddle, just every reset I take out of the air is just going to die on my paddle.
That's pretty interesting because I was trying heavier paddles. I was trying to put a lot of, lead.
Yep.
And I had gone to 9.2.
Yeah.
And then I went down to 9. My elbow was just getting blown.
Yeah.
But for me, I find it where I got to 8.5 because if it was either too heavy or too light.
Yeah.
And if it was either one, it was messing up my elbow.
Okay.
And my wrist.
Yeah.
And I guess it's maybe like the vibration of it. I don't know what the heck was going on, but I was always trying different ways and different weights. And one of them is where you're putting it. It's down here in this corner. And I also do a little bit up here.
Okay.
Now I do anyways. But Do you find it better? I like it down here just because it's more stable for me, and then I have like more of the weight sort of, closer to my hand.
Yeah.
And then people have it here in the middle.
I think
to get more of a sweet spot, opening it up, and then this is more power.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say that. I would also say too, especially with the elongated ones, you do have all this sort of space down here, but a lot of times without weight, it's not what I call usable space.
Really?
You hit a ball like around this sort of logo here, and it's not going anywhere. But
Really?
if you add weight, I think it ends up playing a lot more like a hit more up towards the sweet spot would play.
So it gives you a little bit more forgiveness.
And I find, especially when you're like defending, digging balls out of the air, it's really nice to have that sort of extra pop from down low on, especially elongated paddles.
Yeah, and I think that's pretty important.
Yeah, I did what you did with my original Hyperion, where I added a couple ounces and I was like, oh, this is playing better. I added a couple more ounces up higher and I was like, I think I like this even more.
This is great.
I added a couple more ounces. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is up to like 9.3, 9.4.
Yeah, and then you're just dragging the paddle on the ground because your arm is
at
gonna
some
fall
point
off.
I realized in volley battles that the only thing I was doing was blocking because I couldn't actually swing the paddle anymore.
Exactly. Just like
hanging on for dear life.
Yeah, but I think it's important for that because of things like how we're going to talk about the wind in the PPA. The wind is going to take that wiffle ball. It weighs nothing.
Yes.
And you're thinking your swing is great. Your positioning is great. Everything is great except for that damn wind. And it only takes an inch or two to move it. And if you don't have a lot of forgiveness on that paddle, you're in trouble.
Yeah, I don't know. Did you watch any of the Texas PPA recently?
I did, but I didn't watch like whole games. I just only watched like maybe one or not a whole match. I mean, I watched like one game off of, the men's and one game off of mixed and stuff like that.
Yeah, I was thinking about it because the wind was absolutely wild.
Was it?
Yeah, 40-mile-an-hour gusts at one point.
Damn.
There's a couple clips out there of pros just going for like easy putaways, and the ball just it just zooms away from their paddle. Yeah, like it was on like a fishing line, and someone yanked it away, like Looney Tunes style.
Yeah. Or when they fish for people, they put like a dollar, and then they start rolling.
Yeah, start just reeling the ball away.
Yeah. I actually went to a tournament. I don't know when it was, maybe a couple of years ago, to Del Rey.
Yep.
And the mistake of my life. Just kidding. It was just because it was so damn windy, and I was playing singles, and I served it, and I tried to hit the shit out of the ball, because the wind was
just
coming,
bringing it right back to you,
and I hit it with all that I could. That junk went in the air, stopped, smoked a cigarette and just chilled out, whatever. It dropped like right in the corner, right next to the kitchen, and then went that way. And the guy was like, "Come on, man." I'm like, "I'm sorry, it's a tournament. Can I have the ball?" I was like, on a rec game, I'd be like, whatever.
Yeah.
But it was just a huge problem. Like, everybody was having such a huge problem with that freaking thing. And it was, I know that I had hit the ball, not in the same match, but in a different singles match. Same thing, and I hit the ball. I was driving it, and when I drove it, and it was hit, I hit it solid. So the guy was going to the left to get it, and I was trying to hit his backhand. I go down the line, and it's like halfway there, and then it just stops, like literally, and it just bounces, and it just stays. And he's like, "What the hell was that?"
Yeah,
like that's crazy. It's a huge wind is a factor. Like,
not only a factor. I think winds can get so high that they become almost the dominant feature of the match.
What about having, because so many people like to play outdoors.
Yeah.
And a lot of people hate it. And they don't like it because of the sun, the light, the wind, the weather, blah blah blah. But would it be better for pickleball to go indoors just to get rid of that? Or is it, for me, it'd be the lighting.
Yeah.
You can't have consistent lighting everywhere you go. It'd be a different lighting. So
I definitely like playing indoors more. I prefer when there are as few sort of outside factors influencing the outcome of a game. I do know why people will prefer outdoors though and like playing outdoors.
right.
I wonder if maybe there's some sort of agreed upon limit that we can say though for wind where like, you know, if gusts are over 35 miles an hour or whatever, we just, you know, don't play, results aren't valid type of a deal.
That's a good
because it, you know, it's not like soccer or something out there like,
and because I don't know, like
at some point you feel like you're playing against the wind more than you're playing against your opponents. And I think a lot of the pros were feeling that this weekend.
I was just saying it because maybe just for tournaments to be indoors. But then if you practice outdoors, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Anyways.
Yeah, I think too, you saw how much of a factor was with both Anna Lee and Catherine Parenteau and Anna Bright and Rachel Rohrbacher. Both those teams, you know, went down to teams they usually don't lose to, especially Anna Lee and Parenteau.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, no one's been able to touch them for a couple years now without having Anna Bright on
exactly
the opposite side.
I mean, they lose like once every 3 years or something.
Yeah, I don't think it's a coincidence that it happened the weekend with the 40-mile-an-hour gusts.
Yeah, so that definitely does play a factor.
Yeah.
All right, what do we got next? This Central Florida saturation.
Yeah.
What's going on with that?
Man, there's if you're an Orlando person who's in the pickleball scene, you may have noticed that there's a lot of courts going up. Mm-hmm. And I think it's getting harder and harder to build sort of big leagues and big communities because people are sort of isolating into smaller and smaller sort of groups based on what courts are near them.
Okay.
A couple years ago, you know, Orlando Racket Sports and Crush Yard, or Orlando Racket Sports and Clear One had basically a monopoly on any sort of indoor play. Mm-hmm. And in Florida, that's big because you got, you know, very rainy summer nights.
Yep.
And you have, if your outdoor courts aren't lighted, in the winter, those things are going dark at like, you know, 5:30 p.m.
Yeah,
so you get
early.
Off work and it's
done.
yeah.
Get 30 minutes
sun's
in.
gone. People used to come from, you know, all over Orlando to play. You would get people from, you know, north side, south side, meeting up in some of those like central locations.
Yeah, because those were like the only ones that were there.
Absolutely, yeah. But now we've got, you know, we got Crush Yard taking up a lot of the people who are sort of on the west-south side.
Yep.
Then central-south side, you've got sort of One Plus now taking up a bunch of people.
Yeah, because One Plus is in St. Cloud.
Yep.
The Crush Yard that's off of 192. It's over there towards like Celebration. Mm-hmm. You have different ones, but at the same time, it's like so many people complain that there's not enough, and then started coming in and they're like, oh my gosh, they start complaining that there's too many. Like, what do you want?
Yeah, I mean, I think the hardest part is once the groups start breaking up and splitting up and stuff, it's tough. You know, if you can get like 44, 5 plus players in one location, like that's a cool league that draws other people. But if those 45 players split up into, you know, 4 different
little
courts,
and
stuff, based not even based on like social stuff, but basically just geography. Right. Of they're now going to the court that's 10 minutes from their house as opposed to 45 minutes.
Yeah, that happens a lot now. It's like I don't go to here because this place is 10 minutes from me. So, all right, shoot, damn.
Yeah, it's getting
it's
getting harder and harder to get everyone together in like big sort of group formats. Yeah, I would say for sure. So the last thing I wanted to talk about was DUPR. I know that you and I both, I think, are pretty sort of casual tournament players and stuff. Like, you know, if somebody asks me to do a tournament with them, I tend to say yes. I don't like to be too discriminatory or exclusive with who I play with.
Yeah. You've avoided me like 7 times. It's weird.
I didn't say I'd play with literally anyone.
Oh gosh. Damn. I'm a nobody. And for DUPR, I mean, the people that don't know what DUPR is, it's the rating that you get when you go into your tournaments and everything. And a lot of people get fixated on it, but
I mean, it's basically a number that says how good you are, and
it kind of gives you that level of where you are.
Yeah,
if you're a 4.0, if you're a 2.5, if you're a 3, whatever.
Yeah, and you know, I think if you're, you know, playing with top partners on like PPA qualifiers and stuff like that, you know, it definitely sort of works as intended. And I do understand why sort of those players, why DUPR is so important for those players, because they're trying to find better partners, climb the ladder, get into the main draw, stuff like that. But I think for anyone not in that situation, that getting too obsessed with it can take away from some of the things that make pickleball great to begin with. Yeah. You know, the fact that somebody can, you know, run a small tournament for $25. If my friend asks me to playing him with it, I'm like, sure, man. Yeah. I'll go play. Like, that's cool. You know, it's not great for the DUPR, but
it'll hurt my DUPR.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't like being in that situation because
I never liked DUPR. I think DUPR is terrible idea, and I'm the same way. I'm gonna play with whoever you are, and then when I do that, I get screwed, because if it hurts my DUPR and my DUPR goes down, and I ask somebody to play in a tournament with, and they know either we're on the same level or whatever, they say no because of my DUPR. Yeah. And I think that's wild. And I mean, I have groups that I play with, and they're like, they always deny that to play with me, and it's because of my DUPR. Yeah. I'm like, how in the hell? We play all the time. Yep. I don't play with the same person or whatever. I'm winning, I'm losing. You know, it's there. You know, it's not like I'm losing against these guys 11-1. Yes. I do these money balls with them, little money balls. It's just, you know, just to mess around and everything, but I win. And it's like, are you saying that I'm that terrible that I beat you when you have this person, I beat you when you have that person, and then when you beat me, okay, cool, whatever, but it is like 11-9 or 11-8, or it's there. You know what I'm saying? You're really going to say no because my DUPR is low? That baffles me. And I got fixated on DUPR, where I was like, all right, I'm going to get my DUPR up. I'm not going to just play with anybody. I have to do this, whatever. And then it started, for me anyway, it just wasn't fun anymore. Yeah. Because I was just so fixated on that. And then my DUPR was like 4.5, and then 4.7, and then 4.9. And then I was like, what the hell am I doing this for? Like, this is just, for some people, they have to do that, or they feel like they have to really get their DUPR up for whatever reason. But I just stopped caring, and I just started playing, and it hurt the hell out of my DUPR. My DUPR right now is like 4.2.
I think you're higher than me.
Yeah, I mean, people are like, how's your DUPR 4.2? I'm a 4.2, I guess. I'm not, but there's going to be players that I've been playing with for years, literally. You're a 4.2. I'm like, you know what? Go suck an egg over there.
I'm an optimizer, right? So if I fixate on trying to improve my DUPR, you know, I'm going to be like, all right, I'm only going to sign up for tournaments with like one or two, like handful of partners who synergize really well. We bring out the best in each other. We can take down sort of the highest level competition. Yeah. I gotta be like, it's gotta be an environment I like. I like the courts. I think they bounce good. I play well on them. I'm comfortable there. You know, I like the ball they're using. That's the only ball I want to play with.
Why would you be picky?
And then like that is how I would optimize my DUPR. But then it's like, I'm just sucking the joy. Like everything that makes pickleball fun, I stopped doing to get this number higher.
Yeah, same. I agree with that, because that's how I was feeling.
Yeah.
I was feeling like I'm not having fun anymore. I'm like putting things up or having these priorities with the whole pickleball thing. And it wasn't like that when I started, when I played for 2 years or 3 years, like, and then this, all of a sudden this DUPR. And it's like, nah, man, I'm not even going to do that.
Yeah.
So I stopped doing that. I'm like, listen, you want to play in a tournament? Hit me up.
Yeah.
I'll play in it.
Yeah, right.
Because it's just about fun for me. I'm not like that.
Yeah, you gotta. Yeah, the only thing that sucks is, I think, both when, you know, venues and stuff start doing sort of DUPR restriction leagues and other things like that, it definitely hurts players who, you know, do choose to let it go and not care or worry about it too much. And I think probably also coaching, it hurts us as
100. Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a lot of people that are.
Somebody's been like, "Oh, is this guy really that good? DUPR's 4-0. I just won a 3-5 tournament. Like, I just got silver so 3-5. We're basically the same level."
That's Coach Brian. He's pretty good. You should give him a call. This and that. And they're like, "Oh, what's his last name? Farley? Okay, Brian Farley. It's a 4-2.
Yeah,
I could beat this guy.
Yeah."
It's like, all right. And that'll, you know, just because they don't know me, they don't see how I play or whatever.
Yeah.
And then, but they see that number.
Yeah.
And they're like, I'm not going to call that guy. You know, I'm not going to take advice from him. I'm not going to do, you know, whatever. It's like, because sometimes I'm like, you don't have to, you know, do anything of like lessons and stuff like that. Like, I'll give you advice. I'm not the type of person to be like, if I play with you, it's like, hey, keep your paddle up. Hey.
Oh, yeah.
Go down. Hey. Don't hit it down. Hey. Like every single point.
Yeah.
I don't like to do that. I like that if people are saying or questioning, what should I have done there?
Yeah.
Like, why do I keep hitting it this way? Or why does the ball keep doing this? Type of thing. When they kind of like invite me.
Yeah. They prompt you.
But most people, if they don't see me playing, especially like 100%, like I'm playing, I'm going all in. Who's this guy? This is only a 4-0 guy. Like, why is he?
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna bother taking advice from this dude.
Yeah, I feel like the unsolicited advice givers always seem to be the people who should probably not be giving unsolicited 100%. Advice.
100%. I see that way too many times.
Yeah. There are some people who I've played with who I wouldn't mind a couple pointers from, but inevitably they are not the ones giving those pointers.
Yeah, it's always I play a couple times like in the morning and with older crowds. I go with my pops and stuff, and there's people that, you know, haven't seen me play, and I don't go there when I play with my pops. You're not headhunting, smashing and crashing. You know what I mean? I'm not doing that. There's some people that are like, you know, next time you should do this or that, and I'm like, so should I like have it? I just go along with it because what am I gonna do? I'm like, excuse me, sir.
I'm a 4-2 DUPR.
I'm a certified 4.2. Get out of here. Here's my card. Call me. Nah, I don't do that at all, but that's pretty funny. Oh man. That's it for us here at OAP-TV. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, and we will see you on the next episode.
Thanks for watching, guys, and don't miss out on getting that free gear.
Gear me. Peace.